The main point I want to make is that Anik has structured this approach to building a business through different offers and to make it profitable because his main people, like the people he's speaking to, are mostly focused on growing the business and keeping it profitable. Like that is the problem he solves. That is like the biggest focus. So profit-focused people, right? Not every person builds a business just to get profits. Profits are important, especially if they want to keep growing a business. But maybe you want to know, will this actually help people? If you're in a business to help people, you wake up every day and your focus is not necessarily how to make more money, but rather, okay, how can I help the people I serve? I also want to put across a few things about this model that will help you reach and serve and help more people. The way it goes about this is, well, we'll first go through the initial details and then we can point out the different ways that it supports you helping more people. First, you've got an acquisition type offer, which is generally a book. Now, how many times have you read a book before and it changed the trajectory of your life? How many times have you read a book before and it's introduced you to new concepts or new things or new activities?
This one was good.
That one was really good.
Really good. I got this in the end of the 1990s. Changed my life.
Now, interestingly, Jurgen Wolf.
Yeah, Jurgen Wolf.
I don't believe we've seen anything else of what he does.
He's quite famous. He's from quite a long time ago, before you were born. I got this book before you were. In fact, like the beginning part, I remember he was talking about this. Actually reminds me of.
Hold on a second.
So look, it tells you about the author here. Like he had some really famous books. His books include Your Writing Coach, Do Something Different, and Creativity Now. Oh, I got that one too.
Oh, look, he's got a website.
Yeah.
And he's got a subscription. And as well, he has more details on products.
Yes,
but that's the publisher.
Yeah, that's the publisher. But this book itself was published.
You're taking over my presentation, so
that's
shoot.
True. Okay.
Shoot.
You shoot. Book. I love books.
You do love books, that is true. Okay, acquisition through the book. You could reach many, many, many more people with a budget. Now, there's a caveat to this, and using this model assumes that you already have the volume you need to be able to push through a book and upsell an offer in order, like this has zero validation process. So that is caveat number one. Doesn't mean it's not applicable for you, but it may not be applicable for your business yet. There is a minimum number that you need to be really earning in profit and have available ready for spend on this method in order to test it for your business. So that is caveat number one. No validation process.
Oh, that's a good one. I like
which is something that Laurel's really good at bringing to the table. Validation processes and stepping into something like this model. Now, the second thing we go through are upsells. How many times have you gone through a sales funnel, said, oh, I really want this one thing, and it's packaged together with all these other things you weren't interested in, which kind of they keep giving you as a reason to buffer up the price, so the thing you wanted now actually has a cost of £500, £15,000 instead of that bit you really, really needed. So now you go, why the hell do I have to go through all this?
That's what Laurel's doing right now with the momentum thing.
Yeah.
She discovered that's actually a really good example as well.
Exactly, but we'll get to that in a moment. Upsells not only are a way to start, well, this is a liquidation term, not only are a way to start getting money back so that you keep the cycle going if you start with this method, but because you always need to be making you need to always be like making back what you put into this process before you can continue to run it and grow it. But it also allows the people you're serving to pick and choose the different things they need. Because some people will not need it and they will appreciate you all the more for not forcing things upon them. But sometimes you have closed systems, and that's when you have things all put together.
I've got a quick question that a lot of people ask is, what the heck is liquidation? See, a lot of people don't know and understand liquidation at all in these kind of presentations. They're like, I understand when a business liquidates.
Caveat number 2, weird terms.
Yeah, well, maybe we can do this on another training, Dan, because it might go off on a tangent. But
liquidation simply means, I'm going to put £1,000 a month into advertising this business using this system. Liquidation as a term is that I spent £1,000 and from these first offers I got £1,000 back. The faster I get my money back from advertising, as well as all the effect it's having on bringing new people into my world, showing them what I'm capable of, creating my ideal clients and so on, the faster you get that money back to put into ads, the better you can advertise, the more you can test, the more you can build your business. You could even double the amount you're spending on ads if you know that it will come back to you in a month's time or less.
But you need a validated offer. Don't just make some money somewhere and then just put it in more ads if this is not working.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people do that. And then
validation process is super important.
It's really important. And a lot of people miss that step and then they wonder why their business crashes or fails.
Yeah, which is probably why people go through the Pentagon thingamajig. That's a house.
I like houses. I bought a lot of them. They actually did bring me a lot of money, so
I'll put.
And then we got off on tangents.
You got just like a house. You got to build your foundations before you can go through this entire process. Because otherwise, you're going to have to go through and prepare and validate.
Yeah.
Actually, it probably has a validation process for these. He just didn't bring it up in the overall
he was trying to say
review.
They were telling him to go to an event.
Anyway, it goes away.
Okay, but the point is, you should really talk about the House Pentagon thing at some point, maybe on a different training.
Yes, can I finish this one?
Get that. Okay, yeah, go back. Just so know that could be a piece of that will come later. No, sorry, I'll be in.
Okay, liquidation, getting back the money you need to reinvest into the advertising as soon as you can from the people who are going through your book. And so the upsells get you your advertising money back, ideally. And so these two are for getting your advertising money back. And once those are in place, awesome. You go to back end, which is what B stands for. And back end is when you start involving yourself in, a 1,000 offer. And that can look into different ways. Just kind of means, let's say it could be £1,000 up front. It could be, £100 a month or £200 a month. Anything between the 1,000 to 2,000 range.
Long tail, even.
Exactly. That's a principle you can apply to these higher end offers, where you pay quite a bit and then over time it's just got small
because it's
payments.
taking someone a lot of money to get you started. They're investing their time in you.
So you've got the back end where people are buying in, and Laurel's example of this was a $200 a month subscription to a program called Momentum. Now, the way Anik framed getting different priced offers was like this. Same information. Let me know if you can see this once I've finished. Same information. I'll have to kneel down for this. More access, support, accountability, community, and all those cool things. You share, and Laura's a perfect example of this. You share the same information all the way throughout the process. You get the book, and the book tells you exactly what you could apply if you paid 1,000 to 2,000. And getting forward a bit, the same information applies to the people who get to the recurring stage, which is where you make your 10,000, which is where you get ongoing payments. So you make sure that your incoming, like money from people who stay on recurring, are free. Is a really cool book, which you should definitely have a look at and check out and go look for. Good luck. It's a big part of that, but same information, same concepts and applicable information, just different access to you is a key part of making these offers stronger, valuable to the right people. That's a part of your system. Is how part of working this out is how you can give these people the best kind of access to you strategically. How can you give these people clear information and just kind of support all of these people, because you're sharing the same information or strategy or knowledge with these people, especially if you're in an information-based business or along these lines. The main point of difference is access to you, the person who has done these before and has a clear and solvable problem. Think about it this way: diagnostics. By being able to diagnose what they need at any given stage of them having to implement your method, you save them not just an hour of going through your training. It's not like you pointing out, okay, you should look at this in my 1 hour training and that's what you need. It saves them that hour of training plus several days, weeks, months, years of uncertainty and perhaps going down the wrong track, because remember, so many marketing messages out there. But you also save them all the resources they would have spent otherwise going down a path that would not lead them to where they want to be. Now, let me get clear on this. Let me see if I can express it in the best words possible. It's probably not something I should say out loud, but I'm still practicing this. Giving people a clear path to where it is they want to be, and being able to express how much time and energy and other resources they save during that process, is a skill likely only you or someone extremely well versed in your method will be able to do. If you're an expert, you know how you'd be able to do that. That is a type of value found here and somewhat here, but again, more time with you, community time, spending time with you on a challenge of sorts, 1-to-1 if that is your deal, or 1-to-many depending on how you want to frame it. That more time goes into the further and higher price you go, and that is where the most value can be found. Now, to be able to do that, you need to communicate effectively, you need to be clear on your method and all these other things, but once you get to that point, that is a clear price differentiation without detracting from the value of, oh, you left out a bunch of the important information from the book because it was low priced. Well, now I don't really trust you, because what else are you withholding from me? Are you just going to withhold stuff so you can get more money from me? Higher priced, oh, I'm paying for the same thing as the book. Why would I ever pay for this? No, you're paying for access to the expert. So that's the main differentiator, and then it can be a different balancing, act from there. Let's talk about MAC, which doesn't stand for mac and cheese, but we can also talk about, well, Anik framed this as evangelist tribe. ET for short, evangelist tribe. Gina and I talked about it. Not sure about the name evangelist tribe. Really, it just means cool people who absolutely adore what you do and will sign up for everything you do because you have changed their world, and so on. So what happens with evangelist tribe is that they share what you've done and how you've been able to help people with others in their circles. Awesome. That's where the term R0, the infection rate of sorts, came from. If one person gets infected, maybe 1.5, maybe for every 2 people who get to this recurring stage, 1 new person will learn about it. Being able to measure this capacity for growth through referrals and simple word of mouth, R0 or RO, R0, I believe it was the exact term, would be a boon for any business who plans to do so. And I talked about the 3rd level of actually growing. We need to be aware that at every point of this scale mechanism, every sale you make you are supporting someone to achieve a clear outcome, a clear goal, and giving them the information and access to be able to do so. So don't measure it in just the sales you help someone make. In theory, everyone, if they had the level of information and self-actualization, I suppose, or self-capacity, to be able to take in the information from the book and apply it, they would all be able to buy your book. But it's not fair just to say, well, I should just put my book out there and let everyone do so, because some people won't have the time to implement it and to apply it to themselves. Some people won't have the focus necessary, well, not necessarily the focus, but there will be different reasons why people need more of your support to implement this process. By making yourself available for the higher prices, you enable yourself to share this information with more people, first of all. We all need money, first of all, to survive and then to support the actual business and processes. If you have tools, if you have staff, if you have other details. But the growth of the business itself, because of the way the offers are structured, is synonymous with helping more people the bigger you grow. Now, obviously, conversations are important. I don't want to overpopulate this graph, but if you're able to have conversations with the people who are going through these different stages and actually talk with them and see what their experience is and how much progress they're making, you can keep an ear to the ground in that way. You can make any adjustments you need to, first of all, make sure people are going through and benefiting from each of the products. Now, conversations is a laurel strategy, so, well, not necessarily the laurel strategy, but laurel strategy covers conversations best, so I'll talk about that in another video, or you can just ask me. But let's talk about Mac, because we're finally back to Mac. Mum's anxious to get to her whiteboard session, so I'll leave this off at the 20-minute mark. We've got 1 minute left to talk about Mac. Mac simply means you take your leads, the people who have bought the book and given you the contact details, the people who have bought your offer, probably also the upsell, but that may also just be a lead, one of the two. And you do monthly AC, which stands for something else. Essentially, you do monthly challenges, sessions, different types of offers to keep things interesting, to keep things exciting, to get people back in and to cover especially different pockets of your market who weren't ready to just go through this precise strategy, funnel, however you want to call it, and sign up, and to cover the different bases or different types of information based on how people prefer to learn. And this gets people interested in perhaps signing up to this, or going back and reading the book, or going back and signing up to the back-end offer, however they prefer to consume the information. But what it does is it reactivates. Yeah. I'll draw a comparison here to the reactivation campaigns. One of Nick's reactivations campaigns can be at this stage with the Mac, the Be Helpful campaign, the not sure if the Silver Bullet campaign would be precisely exactly what they're looking for.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to do it too often.
No, not Silver Bullet.
Adopt those things then.
Yeah. Well, you can do this monthly or bi-monthly if you're doing a challenge to keep things interesting. So that's another type of, free form offer, I suppose you could call it. And just for final context, because this will get to the 22-minute mark if I'm not careful, we do all of this in one vertical niche. You select one niche where you have the biggest capacity to help, support, inform, help other businesses grow or people in the three niches that Anik mentioned, which was wealth, health, and relationships, depending on whichever one it was. Just keep an eye on knowing which one is yours, or if yours is another one, and then you maybe need a different framework. But you do all of this growth in the same niche because you'll be able to support the different people at different stages in that particular niche. You'll be able to keep the flywheel going because there will be people
stages.
You'll have thousands and thousands of people sitting at the different stages, the 97% reminder, that aren't ready to move forward yet, but you reactivate them, or soon it will be time, years go by, and now suddenly they're ready to buy.
I just want to explain something on that. It's like people get confused really easily. So let's just say you're an expert in one form or other, and then you suddenly think, oh, I could do this as well. People get confused really easily. So if you do one thing, I mean, if you look at Laurel Portier, she's stuck at video ads. If you look at her, she does one thing and she does one thing really, really well, and she helps people understand it, but she does it at all these different levels.
And now she has a clear reputation, doesn't she? She has clear
you
authority in that.
You can't doubt what she does because this is what she does. This is who she is and this is what she does. And she does it so well that it's obvious. If you think Laurel Portier, you think video ads, don't you? In fact, you probably think Facebook video ads, but she's also doing YouTube as well. Yeah, but it's more about a flow.
Shall I close this off so you can start yours?
It's about a flow, and all of us are at different stages in this flow, and some of us actually move through this flow at different time as well, because we've got life going on. So this is really important to understand. So even though this could be a perfect flow with your expertise, each person is in a different stage in their business, in their life. You know how things can happen. COVID is actually a really, really good example of how things can, turn things upside down for your business or your life, and both together, okay? So if you always consider your own life and your family's as well lives, you know that people might be like, buy a book and then that goes in the drive and then they forget that they've got it, even though it inspired them at the time they picked it up, okay? It spoke to them, your ad spoke to them, okay? And it might take one or two other things to come in front of them, which is this, okay? And the ecosystem, for them to go, oh gosh, I forgot about that. Let me have a look again, okay? The more times you can pop it in front of the people who already showed an interest in you, the more likely they are to think about you when they've got the problem that you can solve. And this is why this is so powerful, because it is ever running, okay? Ever running, and this is actually really, really comprehensive. The only downside is it takes time and energy of yours. So I know that Anik has people helping him with this, okay? He's got a bunch of people. He's not doing this by himself, okay? Definitely not doing this by himself.
Think about Laurel, for example.
Yeah, Laurel does. Laurel doesn't do everything by herself, even though she does. It all comes from her mind, but she's also got feedback from her family and her friends, okay? Everything she does. And the other thing I wanted to explain about Laurel is she doesn't just do ads. She networks. She's out there talking to people. She's at events speaking. So her 4 million that she's made in the last 7 years is not just about putting up things on the internet. It's actually about being present. And her ecosystem, her flywheel, is built around everything else she does. So that is something that's really, really important to say. So all these things work. They work by bringing attention from people who don't know you and then having them flow through your ecosystem, as you like to say. But there's other stuff from the back end as well. And if you want to create this kind of thing, you could. It'd probably take you years, okay? And you probably change a lot of things as you go, because you learn as you go from the people you're serving. So if you wanted to make millions, because you can, you got to consider how that would actually be, okay? It's not something that is quick to do, even though Anik said he can do this in 3-4 months. He's got a team of people, he's got experience. Okay, so I always like to make sure that people understand that this is possible. The first time you probably try it, if you tried it by yourself, you're going to get confused and probably drop out. You probably want to go to a Neeks event if you're really interested in making millions of this kind of thing, if it's something that you're passionate about. But don't kind of start this by yourself and then go, oh, this doesn't work because you didn't understand it properly, because you haven't had the experience. Please don't do that, because these things do work. Okay, these things really do work. They're not a load of push, are they, Dan? They're actually real. But not many people have got the sustainability, the focus, the passion, even passion. It takes a lot to do this, because you get a lot of negativity as well as the positivity. So you've got to learn how to brush things off your shoulders.
Because no matter what you do,
And if you,
your business together,
and also the better you do, the more negativity you get from people who are jealous as well. Anyway, Dan wants to take that.
Before we get off topic.
I do not. So, yes.
No worries at all. So we'll close up here. The end, I guess.
Yeah.